In 2024, I played my first Persona game, that being Persona 3 Reload, and I enjoyed it a lot. So just a month after that, I played Persona 5 Royal for the first time, and I love Persona 5 Royal so much that just a month after finishing that, I bought Persona 4 Golden and played it for the first time. And what did I think? Well, I liked it. It has some of my favorite Persona characters, and I liked the color yellow. But was it my favorite of the three? Not at all, really. Spoiler warnings for Persona 3 Reload, Persona 5 Royal, and Persona 4 Golden. Please go play them if you haven't. Let me start with some of the things I really do love about Persona 4. The main party is absolutely amazing. I love how close they feel, and I like how they all meet one another because they just happen to be in the same class. I think they all 100% have a real reason to be in this story. It doesn't feel like any of them are here for no reason, which I unfortunately do feel about some of the characters in the rest of the series. I love everything this game says about our vulnerabilities and how we can allow those to help us grow closer to one another. That's really the whole first half of the story, is the characters choosing to accept each other despite each other's flaws, and I think that's very beautiful. I love the main cast in this game, even if nowadays a lot of them, like Laura Bailey and Troy Baker, are in like every game ever. Or I'm sure some of you saw on Twitter that Yuri Lowenthal essentially leaked the remake by announcing he won't be returning as Yosuke, which to me is so disappointing because he is amazing as that character. I love the music in Persona 4. I'm not going to rank the soundtracks of all the games because that's literally impossible. Everyone loves Persona music. It's been in every YouTube video ever. When I see other people talk about Persona 4 online, the main criticisms I see all revolve around the gameplay and how it's outdated and needs a remake. I'll talk later about why I don't think a remake is necessary, but I don't necessarily disagree with these criticisms. The dungeon designs and enemy types are very repetitive, especially if you sit there grinding them to get to max level. But I do like how all of the separate dungeons fit the character they're built for. Like for Rize, she has the Marukyu striptease, which gives us cool insight into her worries of overexposure, but also her fears of not being seen as like a real human, but a literal persona of sorts. Or how Kanji's dungeon being this bathhouse where his desires of showing intimacy, specifically with men, are uncovered. So yeah, while the dungeons aren't as perfectly laid out and as finely crafted as the Persona 5 palaces, I definitely think they're better than Tartarus in Persona 3, and I think they work well enough for the characters and the story itself. Unfortunately, however, to me, the story itself is undeniably the weakest of the three main Persona games, and this is due mostly in part to 1. An insanely dull final villain, and 2. A final act that does not know when to stop itself. I want to talk about the second part first because I have not played the original Persona 4, only the Golden Edition, and I suspect that the main reason the pacing feels so bad is because of the Golden Editions. After you uncover the true culprit Adachi and defeat him, which I did on December 22nd, Christmas and New Year come, and when I was playing I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. I'm getting to spend time with my friends and go on dates with Rize, I'm enjoying this. And then on January 2nd, the game plays this new amazing song, and seriously listen to this for a second. That's just beautiful. And you go around talking to all your social links, talking about what you want to do for the new year, and I seriously thought the game was wrapping up, because I knew that in Persona 3 and 5, those games end with you talking to your social links, and I figured, yeah, the story is pretty much over. The villain, Adachi, has been defeated, everybody is happy, and it just felt like a good place to end the game to me. But then, the game reveals that there is something going on with Marie. We don't know what, and we don't know when we'll be able to do anything about it. Margaret, the Velvet Room assistant, just tells us, Marie has disappeared, and I'm going to find her. And we're just supposed to go through the day-to-day activities for some unknown amount of time. And this section of the game, which is most of January, was so boring to me. I was happy I had more time to finish my social links, even though the ones I had to finish were mostly boring, but I won't go into that right now. I didn't really want to keep playing, because I didn't really know why I needed to keep playing. There's a reason that throughout the main story during each arc, the game will give you a clear date as for when something needs to be accomplished. It gives you a sense of urgency, and you know everything you do in the day-to-day by either building up your social links, or fishing, or doing some side quests. It'll all help you with the task at hand. And yeah, when you finally get to the ski trip with the gang, it's fun. And I don't hate Marie's character or story really. It was just such a slog getting from the end of Adachi to the Hollow Forest. But guess what? Even after the Hollow Forest, the game is still not done. We've been through what I thought were two final bosses at this point in Adachi / Amena Sugiri and Marie / Kasumi no Okami, but we have one more true final boss. On the supposed to be last day of Persona 4, March 20th, the game will have you go talk to all of your friends again. And this time, you're really saying your goodbyes. But after this, you can go to Junes and have one final meetup with your friends where they apparently realize that they want more answers about everything. Throughout the whole game, you have to make the most specific ass dialogue choices and go to the most random ass places to unlock the true ending. And whatever, that's not one of my real gripes with the end, but this whole thing is just like edging me. It's so annoying. The final boss turns out to be this fuck ass gas station worker that you met at the very start of the game. And this is horrible to me. This is a person who I have not thought about once since the first day of the game. And when I learned that this was the final boss, I made a face that I cannot describe in any other way besides pure disappointment. I look like Eren from Attack on Titan when he's about to destroy Armin and Mikasa and Uno. I actually looked up Izanami because I forgot if they were portrayed as a man or a woman, and all Google wanted to show me was the final boss Nyx from Persona 3. And this just made me laugh my ass off. It's such a microcosm for how much Izanami actually affects the game. Her motivations are basic, and I don't think she doesn't make any sense. It's all just so like dull. And listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Adachi either, but I know he has like a huge cult fandom, and I don't think he's anywhere near close to the best villains in Persona 5. But I prefer Adachi way more than Izanami. With Adachi, we actually get to know him throughout the game, and he actually has a pretty cool dynamic with the protagonist where they both come from big cities. They had a lot of potential, but the path Adachi took was way different than ours, and it led to a way different outcome. And I think this is the best thing the game does in illustrating its main themes of seeking the truth in ourselves and how we need to form good bonds with others. I don't think Izanami represents any of these aspects in a good way, and it's such a disappointment going from Adachi to Marie to her. I also think that Nyx from Persona 3 is better than Izanami, and some of you may have been thinking about Takaya from Persona 3, and yeah, he sucks. But he's the true final antagonist of Persona 3, so it doesn't affect the game near as much to me as Izanami does Persona 4. Because when I think back on Persona 3, I think, yeah, Takaya was mid, but the build up to Nyx was so worth it. It makes me think that I would view Persona 4 a lot better if Adachi was the true final antagonist. But this is why I don't think a Persona 4 remake will change my mind about it being the worst of the main three. If I was to give you one reason why I prefer Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Royal over Persona 4 Golden, it's the story. Both of those games do a great job building up to a final antagonist that display and challenge the theme and messages of those games so well, and 4 doesn't do that. And I don't think any remake is going to change that. I don't think they're going to completely rewrite Izanami. I don't think they're going to completely change how she's introduced into the story. And honestly, like, a remake could very well harm some of my favorite aspects of the game, which are like the music being redone. And I know a lot of Persona 3 elitists really hate the reload music, and I disagree, but that is something that could happen to Persona 4. And I already mentioned how we know that Yuri Lowenthal won't be returning, and that probably means the rest of the cast won't return either. And that's really sad to me. Like I said, those are some of my favorite parts of the game. I think the main benefits of a remake are just some things like cleaning up the gameplay UI, and maybe adding some more like Showtime-esque attacks. That's all fun and great. If Persona 4 is your favorite game ever, that's great. I don't want to take that away from you. It's just that when I played it for the first time, I was genuinely baffled by so many of the endgame decisions. In general, the final 10 hours really made me think so much lower of the game, where with 3 and 5 it was the complete opposite. The endings in those games take them from great to phenomenal in my eyes. So yeah, well, overall I like Persona 4. There's no doubt in my mind it's the worst of the 3.